about our initial impressions from New York at the Teofimo Barboza, Ryan and Rolly, and Devin and Ramirez. A
Yeah.
few things have changed in the time since then. I have to amend my 10-8 Barboza scorecard in New York to a 10-9 because Teofimo Lopez reminded me what a true 10-8 is in Los Angeles when he landed that slap. He actually landed the move that Caleb Plant missed on Canelo.
Yeah, yeah.
It was the same kind of left hook, lead left hook with trying to sneak it in there.
But
And
no, connected.
Barbosa's reflexes not as good as Canelo Alvarez's, and maybe Teofimo Lopez disguised the left hook slap a little bit better than Caleb Plant as well. What was your
Yeah.
breakdown?
Um, my breakdown of it was, I'm glad Tio's finally engaged.
Yes.
Like, because the impression we talked about this amongst ourselves, the impression we got was that Teofimo Lopez wasn't taking Barbosa seriously at all.
Javante
Because
Davis, Lamont Roach vibes.
Javante Davis, Lamar Roach vibes, but Barbosa's very aggressive, very very aggressive with his mouth, and I think that he's woken up a sleeping giant, and you might just get for this fight. I don't know what's gonna happen in the next fight or two fights from now, but for this fight, I think you might get the Teofimo of old. You might get the guy that captivated all of our imaginations.
Yeah, I think Barboza woke him up and maybe
Yeah.
shot his load a little too soon. And I talked to you about this before we got on, but like in the NFL, when I cover the NFL or I get to cover the NBA, they're so big on bulletin board material,
Oh
which
yeah.
I always kind of looked upon as it's almost soft. Like you don't tiptoe through the back door. You know, you believe you're better than your opponent, that you're gonna win. Then you have your chest out, speak from your chest. You know, we believe we're gonna win. But a situation like this reminds me of why that exists in the
Hmm.
NFL, in the NBA, sometimes in boxing. You let sleeping dogs lie
Correct.
because in this case, you know, Tiafimo, he goes from scattershot brain talking about faux intellectualism and you know all
He's dropping rap songs.
dropping rap songs and he's all over the place wearing Brett Michaels eyeliner, but you made him narrow his vision upon you.
Yeah.
That might have messed it up because you got a difficult style for him, and now you got this young, talented kid who, when he's right, is special
Hmm.
sometimes. And now he's locked in on you. Now some of that, although all that other scattershot brain is now locking in on Arnold Barboza. And I kind of felt good for Tiafimo when he got the slap off because here he is kind of getting punked by Barboza, taking deep gulps, and I only do it in the ring. And Barboza's feeling himself, and yeah, and he, you know,
Saying the
giving him
game.
that Los Angeles street game and giving it to him. Devin Haney's over here laughing at him, talking about he does drugs. Ryan Garcia shouting him down at the press conference. And Tiafimo's leading off this card, even though he's the only champion on the card
He's the most
and
accomplished fighter on the card.
the most accomplished fighter. And Barboza, I get it. He's feeling himself. He's riding a high. He's beating Catterall as an underdog in his backyard. He beat Ramirez, and and he's really believing what he's saying. He's knocking his hat off, and he's acting like Tio ain't shit and ain't done shit, and that's not true on either front. And so Tio, when he landed that slap, I thought, you know, good for you, because you got to remind people who Teofimo Lopez is. You know, like because we all get it twisted sometimes. You know, do I still got it? Doesn't look good against Jermaine Ortiz. Doesn't look good against Sandor Martin. Can't cut the ring off. Steve Claggett is
Sparring
touching him
session.
up,
Yeah.
and that slap was just letting the boxing world know, like Matumbo,
I'm
you
still
know,
here.
yeah, I'm still here. I'm still Teofimo fucking Lopez. So good for him.
Yeah, I'm happy for him. I hope that Barbosa comes with his best because if he like he's not that far removed from the Sean McComb fight. Sean Puffy McComb.
Sean Puffy McCombs.
Sean Puffy McCombs was outboxing him and making him look very, very regular. So, we have long memories here. I hope that he can box a discipline 12 rounds because that's what he's gonna need. Teofimo Lopez struggles with movers and things like that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we'll see.
Tio may be a lot of things McCombs isn't Sean Puffy McCombs, but he's not a tall back foot fighter like Sean
Correct. Correct.
Puffy McCombs. So he's a shorter fighter who wants to stay in the pocket and have counterpunching opportunities. And, you know, Barboza with those intelligent feet probably won't be giving him a whole lot of that. can he win a fight that way though? You know, so Jermaine Ortiz and Sandor Martin could have win a fight off the back foot. The
No.
judges didn't like it enough. You know, Barboza, I'm sure as their fight progresses, as he tries to make Teofimo reach and make mistakes, he will step it up, put his foot on the gas a little bit. But yeah,
I think it's very possible too, Sean, that maybe our Barbosa being on this stage for the first time, this level of a fight, he might just like abandon all responsibility. I
I
think
don't
that's
think
very.
so.
I don't think he will when push comes to shove. If Tio starts hitting him early, gets some momentum early in the fight, I could see Barbosa unraveling, and maybe some of that composure or lack of at the press conference could rear its head in the fight.
Yeah, I get it. If Tito comes out sharp and he
Yeah,
feels the power early, the fight could get away from him. It could be a rout. Is kind
that's
of
what
what
I'm
you're
saying.
saying, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
if Tio is sharp and he starts to get hit with some shots that make him doubt, like, whoa, wait a second, maybe this is a level I haven't experienced this before.
This
I
power
could
is different. These
I could
angles, yeah.
I could see him getting upset and running out of ideas.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Lopez will win the fight, and I think that Barboza woke him up, and that might work against him because a week ago when we were judging New York, we were still picking Tio, but we were giving Barboza the best chances on the card to get an upset, and I think he woke Teofimo Lopez up. So, and then just to take it to Ryan for a second,
Mm-hmm.
a week ago, and by the way, what I realized I got to take a step back from doing, especially with these young fighters, is well, now Devin's looking shaky. I like Keyshawn. Oh, now Keyshawn had a shaky point. I like all of them. They're all talented. I pegged all of them to become world champions, and they all have, with the exception of Ryan,
Yeah,
who's
yeah.
clearly a world championship caliber talent. Um, but what I'm getting at is just when you think one of them is getting it all together, something else happens. And I say that about Ryan Garcia. A week ago, I'm like, I like this. He seems focused. He seems like he still has kept his intensity and meanness as a fighter that he tapped into for the Haney fight, but without all the chaotic energy around it. More focused young man.
Yeah.
And I said, I love the Reynoso pairing. Well, it turns out there is no Reynoso pairing for this fight.
Yeah,
And so it's like, all right, yeah.
he said Eddie won't be there with him because of I guess he's fighting because Canelo's fighting William Skull.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is like, well, Robert Garcia is training me. Like, I think I have Robert Garcia later today. I have to drive to California. Like, Robert Garcia just opened a fucking 80,000 square foot.
Yeah, world class facility.
Yeah, to train you. I think you have to be trained by Robert at this point. Like, so Robert makes it work with 372 fighters a day. You just can't make it work with working alongside. What are they training? Are they training in Dubai? Ryan, I got news for you. You could probably afford a flight. You could fly out there for 6 weeks and then finish camp in LA. What did I'm not even a fan of new school rap, but what did Young Jeezy say?
Well, what?
If there's a will, there's a motherfucking way. All right? If there's a will to work with Reynoso, isn't there a way, Brendan?
There is, but I don't know if maybe Ryan just feels like he doesn't need it. He's above all that. Which, if that's the case, then that's on him. That's his cross to bear. That's his prerogative.
I mean, he can be if he wants to be. He is, I get it. Like, you're a star, but Reynoso's the right trainer for you, man. Like, this is what'll make you the best you, I think. That's all I'm coming at it from. I was excited. I'm like, oh shit, Ryan Garcia's getting his shit together, full speed. He's going to be a huge, and that still might be the case. I still think he does beat Romero, but I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a bit more. He seems like he's a bit more dialed in. I saw something today where he posted that he's eating clean, so those are good signs. But yeah, you need to have your training situation in order. Yeah, you can't be. I mean, unless you're Oscar De La Hoya, but Ryan's an Oscar De La Hoya. You can't be changing your trainer
Oscar
every
trained
single
like
fight.
a dog back in the day, though, man.
I know.
Sometimes would fight 5 times a year against
as the face of boxing.
Yeah, man. Like,
yeah.
Nah.
He's not that.
Yeah, Oscar would soak up game from Emmanuel or Floyd Sr., Alcazar. He had that
Alcazar, yeah.
Jesus Rivero, and you know, yeah. But it brings me to a point. My wife, Sammy, she
One of the smartest minds in boxing.
yeah, my wife is the brains of the family, a super smart woman. And when I was covering Haney and Prograis in San Francisco, she gave me this article idea, even though I hardly write anymore. I like doing this, but
Yeah, yeah.
she was like, respectfully, because she knows how much all these dudes have accomplished before the age of 30. She's like, maybe you should call it them the four or five, because sometimes we call them the five kings or the four kings, but you should call them the four kids or the five kids, because even though we're acknowledging Tio, lineal in two weight classes, Devin Haney, youngest undisputed lightweight
Disputed.
champion ever, Shakur Stevenson, three division
Division
champ,
champion. Yep.
unified at 130. Ryan Garcia hasn't won a world title, but he's Ryan Garcia. And
Superstar.
yeah, and Gervonta Davis is Gervonta Davis. He won a title off Pedraza, won a couple other belts alongside that, and is beating some really, pretty good fighters, Barrios and Cruz and what have you. But the point is, they're as much the four or five kids as they are the four or five kings, like Duran, Leonard, Benitez, Hearns, and Hagler. And I think their fan bases would hear me say that and would scoff and would get defensive. And
And
it's
they
like,
will in the
no,
comments.
yeah, they're a microcosm of today's society in America, and that includes me. Look at my haircut. Look how I have an NFL blitz cabinet behind me. I'm 33 years old and still play a lot of video games. I am one of the kids. If they're more grown than me. All right, I have not gone out into the world and made millions of dollars with my fist fighting. Okay, so I'm
Yeah.
not trying to downgrade them. I'm trying to make a point, which is society's a lot different than it was in the 1980s. A lot of us are hanging on to our immaturities at a longer age than generations that preceded us. And these guys are not immune to that. They're a part and parcel of that. And so they sometimes, just when one of them is getting their shit together, the other shoe drops. Yeah,
Yeah.
Tio beats Josh Taylor,
It's
and, and then
it's Arrested Development.
yeah, it's yes. And what we're hoping to see is all of them truly grow into the men that they want to be and can become, and become the four kings, but they have at times been as much the four or five kids as they have the four or five kings. And I hope people understand what I'm getting at when I say that.
Yeah, basically in layman's terms, what Sean is trying to say is that while they're very talented and we recognize how dynamic and how talented they are,
And even accomplished to a
and
degree
and
too.
accomplished,
Yeah.
they haven't fully self-actualized what they're all capable of. That's all it is. It's just getting the most out of your talent. They made look, they made millions of dollars. They won world titles. They fought in front of big stadiums and all these kind of things, but they haven't had those legacy defining moments, which we all live for in boxing. We watch boxing because of
I mean, they've had a
moments.
few, Tio against Loma and Taylor and Devin. And people could say Cambosis all they want, but that was for all four straps, and he did that.
Correct, correct.
And yeah.
But like those particular fights you just named, those are fights outside of the scope of the Four Kings. There haven't been those moments amongst each other. That's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for the Leonard Hearns or the Leonard versus Benitez or something like that. Hagler Hearns. We're not getting we haven't really got those kind of moments yet. And the thing is, we've seen these guys now for so many years. So it's at a point in time where it's like we want any pair of them to have one of those kind of moments.
Yeah, by the time Sugar Ray Leonard was 25, which is, I think at this point, younger than all of them are now. I think they're all older than 25, I believe. He had already fought Thomas Hearns, Roberto Duran, and Wilfred Benitez.
Yeah.
So all that was left was Hagler, who he did age out, and but whatever.